ALVA 8 and what they want to pick. So far, their opening draft have been unorthodox, to say the least.
Yeah, this is where a little bit different as well, because from the perspectives of MHRLK, they're all vibes and chills. We did see them yesterday with a pretty comfy space. At this time, they're mixing it up a little bit. They're bringing in, is that a reindeer coat? Okay, that's pretty cute, not gonna lie. But without further ado, jumping straight into drafts here. Lower brackets, elimination match for one of this team. MHRLK Esports on the blue side, ALVA 8 on the red side.
Wonder what the baby is going to draft for MHRLK. Though, I think the constant for the bans, we can again look at the Farmers, the Joy, the Kadita also has been a big focus for most of the teams remaining in the tournament. The Glue sometimes show up, the Fredrin as well. Surprisingly, we haven't seen much Martis ban and picks.
Yeah, I think that's going to be something that they do want to try and prioritize. But MHRLK, they are going to try and catch wind. And the same bans coming from GameLab as well. Banning of the Kadita so far, a lot of teams has been able to come up on top with that. Meanwhile, ALVA 8 banning the Joy as their first pick. We do catch a little bit of glimpse of them. They don't seem to be on high spirits. They are going to be a little bit more focused this game. Hopefully it's going to be a little bit more. But MHRLK, yeah, that's the cutest reindeer.
We saw what Panda has from Euphoria yesterday.
I love the Panda has.
We saw Euphoria. Man. Maybe that's the key. Maybe that's what separates the two regions, right? Just cosmetics, the drip, as the youngsters
you gotta keep it all hyped up for your teammates. Once you see that here, it's like, hey, I am having a bad game. After you see your cute little reindeers, I'll be like, all right, I'm all good. I'm feeling a little bit happy.
I feel like you know this best. Not just the dress to impress, but dressing well makes you feel good for the rest of the day.
Okay, it definitely gives you comfort, but
yes,
does it makes you look good?
Gives you confidence though.
Would you wear that on the first date when you go out on a date for Valentine's or anything?
If I go on a first date, you mean what, the Rudolph cap? Probably not.
How about the panda one?
Probably yes, depending on the occasion, honestly. Like if the occasion, maybe not Valentine's, but if it's something like a Halloween or there's some festivities or there's some event you're attending, then maybe yes.
There's nothing scary about a panda in Halloween's, bro.
You're not supposed to. Well, you're not necessarily scary.
If you're wearing for a cosplay event, sure, I get it.
Sure. Halloween, I've actually never celebrated it before. I've never celebrated it properly.
Yeah, I'm just too afraid. It's just too many scary people
outside.
I just don't want to.
We've been to an escape room together.
No, please do not remind me of that. That is a very long time ago.
I remember.
You know what? You want to tell the story, please, by all means.
No, TLDR.
I'm scared.
I'm more of a bigger man than you are. In the escape room.
True.
In the escape room.
Fine,
only.
Fine. I'll give it to you.
With that aside, the bans pretty much the same, and we see the 1-1 going through once more for MHRLK. You've been emphasizing a lot about getting the boost on 1-1 because of the stat changes, and so far we haven't seen boost on 1-1. Why do you think that's the case though?
It's weird, right? Like, that's the thing. If you are looking to rotate between gangs or you're looking to get a little bit more aggressive, having the boots is a little bit better. But now, not getting the boots, we've seen how MHRLK Esports played it in yesterday's games. In particular, the way they played for CY was that they're not looking for aggression. They're hoping that people dive onto him and he's going to get value out of it. But that was the composition where they were facing up against the Phobius, right? Phobius, once he commits a demonic force, he's going to be right in your face. You don't really need to chase people. You just need to back off. So I guess in that sense, you don't really need the shoes coming from MHRLK Esports. But against a different composition, it might be a complete different story. So I hope they do make adaptations here, or to some certain extent they do realize that eventually they need something like that. It's going to be the case, but MHRLK Esports is taking into comforts here. Thanks a lot alongside with the Grok for the setup too. Very great heroes to actually dive the back lines. Grok, super underrated hero to actually cancel off the Feathered Axe with both the Guardian's Barrier and the potential wall charge coming in.
I honestly thought that MHRLK would look at the Kaja. So far, Kaja led through the first phase, not even touch. And I do wonder, in this case for MHRLK, you can still say that, okay, CJ can play the XP Grok, so Kaja is still an option. Same for ALVA 8, but I wonder what the bans would be, because ALVA 8, they still have XDS Jungler that they can pick. They have the Roamer for Windsmoke as well still on the table. They're gonna start banning out the mages instead. Xavier next to go.
I'm a little bit curious here whether or not ALVA 8, are they going to have Aaron Shiki play XP lane again on this Arlet, or are they just going to let Jirachi play it? Because Jirachi was a pretty phenomenal XP laner, and so far they are struggling a little bit in the previous game. This game, they are banning off traditional mages. Not a big fan of the Xavier ban. Could have gone for maybe something else, maybe a Faramin, maybe even a Lunox to a certain degree, which is pretty much able to actually jeopardize the Farsa a lot more. But ALVA 8, they ban off the Phobias as well. Okay, I guess Phobias does get a little bit of value from the dashes coming from the Arlet, but not an entire big fan. Phobias can kill, kind of stop the Melissa to a certain degree, but the question here is, I think MHRLK is going to be sticking to Yuzhong, so I think banning either Lapu Lapu or Yuzhong would have been a little bit better coming from ALVA 8 to try and secure this Farsa's rotations or gank attempts.
I guess it's also to force this Grok into that roam role as well. Kaja going over to ALVA 8. And I was wondering when we would see this hero. All things considered, it's not the easiest hero to play against this composition, right? Grok isn't a good target. It's hard to catch the rest of MHRLK so far. Ruby going over to NIX as well. So this is a Grok XP, something that we have seen from MHRLK before.
Yeah, these are great ways to actually deal with the MHRLK's composition, right? I like the bans as well. Kufra may not be the strongest way to counter a 1-1. Bouncing ball kind of sets it up a little bit here, especially if you don't have shoes from the side of MHRLK Esports, right? So I guess they want to play around it. I was hoping maybe they set up for a potential Fanny, because as of yet, ALVA 8 doesn't have the Fanny shown yet. They do have a jungler completely hovered their way through, and not having it is going to be a little bit of a difficult time here. Having the Ruby has some sort of protection. Wall charge is okay against the Fanny, but they are picking the Kagura for the mid lane from the side of MHRLK Esports. Final pick, jungler for ALVA 8. Do they double down on the Fanny, or do they force something else? Because the Link didn't exactly work out for XIN at all in the previous game.
Yeah, Fredrin was untouched the entire draft.
Oh yeah.
ALVA 8.
Wait, oh yeah, Fredrin.
There's Fredrin, there's...
Where the hell is the Fredrin? Why?
And there's also the Archive, which XN does play in the jungle. He's going to stick with the Fredrin, making it to the very last pick of this draft.
Now that you think about it, Fredrin just completely ignored. Huh. Questionable. But I like it. You know, ALVA 8 definitely has a very decent draft as well. You know, 1-1 may be able to run ring around Rose's gun to Fredrin, but if the Fredrin gets on top of you, things are not going to be looking good. But so far, based on the drafts here, I'm liking how ALVA 8 looks a little bit more composed in the draft compared to the previous series. And maybe when the stakes are online, things are going to get a little bit different. But both have very unique win conditions. ALVA 8, a little bit more standard plays coming from them. MHRLK still doubling down on that 1-1. This is going to be a very close match.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how this game is going to pan out, because for ALVA 8, you know, you're up against a team that is more even in terms of skill level. You're up against a team that I think there's a higher chance of ALVA 8 taking a game off of. And you know, one of the last vestige of Indonesia. Game number 1 in this lower bracket series for MHRLK Esports against ALVA 8. It's another regional rivalry.
Yep, this is where things get a little bit spicy as well. XIN gonna be playing on the Fredrin this time. He's known for his zoning hero, so playing Fredrin is not something out of his vocabulary so far. Whereas MHRLK gonna be a little bit more aggression, but ALVA 8, we do see a little bit more of a decisive rotation now. This time, they are gonna try and contest and invade Calvin a little bit more. Windsmoke gonna be trying to mirror what Darkman is playing, but this time he's gonna get punished for this. The rest of MHRLK sounds it out, and the wall block comes in. Windsmoke might actually dies to this, forces the flicker while losing his life, and that's gonna be first blood in the hands of MHRLK.
Wow, CJ with the Guardian's Barrier just clips him right on the edge. And that's the impact that MHRLK has been bringing in with this XP Grok. Those early rotations. He's not only just winning his lane, he's also making these plays happen. They get to protect Kelvin. Now they see XN showing up, try to go for the invade. I think he was able to steal that camp away, but Kelvin is going to hit 4 in just a bit with that passive XP anyways, and with his mid lane clear, he's definitely going to hit that 4.
Yeah, beautiful stuff coming from MHRLK. very, very smart rotations as well, knowing that Arla doesn't have the strongest wave clear in level 1. Having this Grok is going to apply a little bit more pressure, but this time Jirachi is trying to bait CJ in an awkward fight. Allura is in position for this contest, but CJ doesn't need to overcommit. Minions are not in his favor. There's no reason for him to go in for a couple of trades. Meanwhile, cheeky plays from Allura. Not going to be able to steal the gold crab from side of MHRLK. But they will start the turtle first for now. Zion, a little bit late to the party. They want to try and contest aggro, but top side, we do see the engagement coming in. Jirachi doing a lot of work, but CJ gonna be backing out. It seems like it's gonna be priority to wall charge to stop the retribution, and MHRLK, they secure the turtle and they get the kill onto Zion before they back out.
Vinsmoke didn't even use his Divine Judgment the entire fight. He was trying to wait for an opportunity. He had some openings to drag MHRLK's target members away, but decided to hold on to it, and I'm not sure how much difference that would have made, but Vinsmoke just being a bit too patient. Now it's gonna again run into NAX. Daiso is around the area as well. ALVA couldn't really find the opening. A bit of a missed opportunity at the turtle fight.
Yeah, very, very smart plays here coming from MHRLK. It was very decisive as well, considering that they are prioritizing on objectives a little bit more. ALVA a little bit more discommunicated in that sense, but hopefully it is going to be for the better, because as of yet, they will lose out a little bit in terms of economy, but MHRLK, however, they will continue with their aggression. Winsmoke needs to make a run for it. He doesn't have his second skill, but he still has his flickers. Looking for that flicker play, but the rest of the teams, they are here grouping up, hoping that MHRLK gets a little bit more aggressive. Zion showing himself, but they don't seem to have the buff to fight this.
I think he stole the purple buff also. Yeah, he did. He stole the purple buff over from XN, as Fredrin didn't really have the retribution to fight for it as well. And also he's a level behind Kelvin. And next again, showing down board pressure, a lot of pressure onto Aaron Shiki as well. ALVA facing the same problems that they had against GameLab. Is slower on their rotation. They're being really reactive, and even then their response is sufficient. Daiso gone on, is able to easily disengage NAX, the target, drag back, and finally they get a kill.
Finally finding an opportunity here. MHRLK overstayed their position here, expecting that maybe ALVA might have rotated away and forced a fight, but guess what? They overthink themselves, but at the same time, mid lane control, they almost lost a creep wave forward this far, so, and the top side as well. So fortunately, they may have lost a player down bottom. They did not exactly lose macro aspect, because as we are top side, the contest for the turtle is in position. ALVA a little bit late to the party. Zion doesn't have his hero buffs or his buffs at all, and Kelvin already in position to contest as well. As they go in for a couple of trades, it all comes down to the sitting down, and the trade comes in.
Zion able to steal the turtle away, and Zidane cancelling the Feather Airstrike. Just a bit too late though. Kelvin slowed down, knocked up. Able to use the Thorn Roses to get away by some distance. Doesn't go down, but the flicker forward from Jirachi will secure the kill. But Jirachi will also trade his life back thanks to NAX. Both teams trading 1-for-1.
Oh, absolutely worth it here. ALVA, they had no choice. They had to go for this kill. Jirachi, he may be the XP laner, but think about it here. Zion is behind in terms of jungle XP as well. They need to find a way to actually shut down Kelvin, and this is going to try and help him equalize a little bit more, even though Zion is still very, very far behind in terms of economy here. It's about 300 behind, but with that kill being said, he is going to be able to scale up a little bit better compared to before, but it's still going to take a little bit more time. This is a tank slot we're talking about, so ALVA, they have to be very, very patient with their next pickoff. But Vinsmoke now, he does have the place, but Farsight is nowhere to be found to set up all the Divine Judgment for now.
Yeah, ALVA again looking for an opportunity. CY protected by his team. XN shows up, means that CY will not be able to be touched. MHRLK have enough info. CY just easily hops back into lane. You have Daiso to cover the flank as well. And XN just cannot really get in range. The members of MHRLK are very, very elusive. Top side for Jirachi in a 1 versus 2. It's going to go down to Kelvin.
Oh, it makes so much sense why MHRLK Esports was backing out on bottom side, because they were about to make an attempt top side. Means they were trying to dodge ALVA all completely. And ALVA not taking the bait at all. They are going to get completely punished for this. But the Divine Judgment comes in. It looks really good by NIX. He's going to get out, and Euphoria not committing to the Feathered Airstrike at all, as he's saving his skill for a bigger prize. But in this case, CY is the bigger one, chunks him down half HP, but they get absolutely nothing for this. But it is going to be zoning for the tier 1 for Iron Shiki instead.
Luckily, they got that tier 1. It would have been disastrous if they got nothing. NIX didn't even have Flicker to get out of the Feather Airstrike if it was committed. Kelvin working on the turtle already. Vinsmoke doesn't have the Divine Judgment right now. As NIX shows up, he also just got his ultimate back. The Imo Fend is going to be very important. Of course, Kelvin secures the turtle. NIX able to keep the rest of ALVA 8 away, forcing the flicker from Vinsmoke. CJ is around the corner.
God.
This could be a good flank angle. CJ waiting for the opportunity. But not able to find one. NIX getting stunned up. Zion going in. Two-man taunt. Kelvin able to dodge it once again, and NIX gets out.
Oh my goodness, things would have went completely south here if NIX kind of dropped the ball in that situation. But at the same time, fortunately for ALVA 8, they were all grouped up at 4, and CJ was nowhere near to actually set up for a 4-man wall charge. So ALVA 8 is still hanging on, but they're still needing a little bit more opportunity for Vinsmoke and Euphoria to try and sync up their play, because Euphoria, he showed himself up, but eventually they need to go for the Divine Judgment play. But the rotations coming from MHRLK, sending up 4 or 5 guys up top, means there is going to be heavy assaults coming from top side. They need everyone on deck, but ALVA 8, bottom stage shoved to the tier 2. MHRLK eventually losing a lot of XP and resources down bottom. But top side, are they going to go for a trade? Because they're taking a little bit too long for this decision, and ALVA 8, they're all grouped up as well.
Yeah, all 4 of them on the top side. Again, you need this Fredrin to kind of open up these brushes. And it's not the easiest target to go on. They do see CY, but CY just hops away. And there's no target, no viable target for ALVA 8. Vinsmoke, he does not have the flicker, so he can't really do too much. NIX now goes for the Imo Fender on the scene, and can he get the Prison Wrap off? Can he make a skill up? Meanwhile, CY going ham with the crossbows attack, finally dragged back under the tier 1. Doesn't find a knockout onto Vinsmoke, so ALVA 8 punishing MHRLK.
Oh, very, very unfortunate coming in from CY here, but at the same time, it's not over yet. Kelvin almost getting the finish on towards Vinsmoke, but he was able to recall back in time. Tier 1 is going to be up for grabs. Meanwhile, ALVA 8 very patient with their pickoff so far, and this is actually going to help Iron Shiki scale a little bit more, but the Lord is going to be up for grabs for now. As you can see, Jirachi scouts out rotations coming from MHRLK. Doesn't have the tools to actually fight this, has to play this a little bit more patient. While ALVA 8, they do not have the Divine Judgment yet, but this time Vinsmoke will have the flicker, so MHRLK needs to be a little bit more careful. They're baiting out with the Lord for now, but they are going to be grouped up to force a fight right now.
Jirachi was chunked down to 60% by CJ. Zian goes in again, and the wall charge instantly knocks him out. They had the Feather Airstrike, but look at Kelvin, he's straight to the backline, takes out the Fredrin. No jungler for ALVA 8 left in this fight. So well executed from MHRLK. The Lord does reset a bit, but MHRLK will be able to get it nonetheless. Easy, secure for MHRLK, and ALVA 8 being dealt the very first blow.
Yeah, and this is where things get a little bit different as well, because eventually with the Lord being out for grabs from the side of MHRLK Esports, things are going to get a little bit difficult for ALVA 8 to shuffle their way through. A little bit undecisive with the play, but now having so much assault coming in, Zion, he can't exactly just challenge that without any sort of backup. And MHRLK, they will be able to continue their assault. They need to make a play around Vinsmoke's catch, but so far, it has not been working out. Every single time he tries to go for a dive, there is going to be a NIX there to actually cut them down and deny them all those stuns. Because as of yet, MHRLK Esports is going to be able to get a couple of catches in. With the Lord coming in, needs to be careful. They are going to go for a dive. They punish Vinsmoke. No Divine Judgment available. They do get a couple of trades though. Coming from Euphoria, they trade 2 for 1. And they get the defense coming from ALVA 8.
Yeah, a bit of an overzealousness from MHRLK. They went in, only got Vinsmoke. Calvin getting challenged by XTN, but it's the Fredrin. No chance on taking out the Lancelot. So ALVA 8 ends up holding on. They actually didn't lose much, considering what happened. Eliora, top of the net worth chart, 7,000 more damage compared to Daizo's Kagura. And so far, ALVA 8, honestly, on the back of this Farsa alone, has been able to keep this game alive.
Yeah, this is where things get a little bit interesting as well. Because as of yet, ALVA 8 is going to be getting a little bit of a problem here, as they need to try and find a way to make space for this Melissa to pop off. Because CY, he may not have the shoes available, but at this stage of the game, if they cannot run away from him, it doesn't really matter because they are going to pop a very, very early crossbow tanks regardless of what happens coming from MHRLK Esports. And as you can see, Tier 2s is going to be up for grabs. Purple buff will be contested as well. ALVA 8, they need to buy time. And currently, for how long? Because Aaron Shiki, he does have the damage available. But as long as somebody cannot tank the 1-1, it's not going to be enough because they need a way to deal with it eventually.
At least for ALVA 8, this game is so much closer than the series that they played previously. 5,000 goal advantage for MHRLK. It doesn't feel as much as it should. But when you look at the levels of MHRLK's players, they are definitely way ahead compared to ALVA 8. Just waiting for the next Lord to spawn in 16 seconds.
Yeah, this is where it is going to get a little bit spicy as well because on the bottom side, they need Windsmoke to try and catch the most crucial player. In this case, catching off on towards Daiso. It's going to help them a little bit more in the damage output. And IX is buying time. He flickers away. Forces one as well. That's huge from the side of ALVA 8. That's a good start for them. Meanwhile, the re-aggression comes in and AX with the pull.
They still have the Divine Judgment. Windsmoke flickers in, tries to find a target. Doesn't do it in time. Ends up getting destroyed by CY. And ALVA 8 off of that skirmish, they're going to lose a Lord again to MHRLK. When it comes to these team fights, MHRLK just do it so well.
My goodness, CY is just popping off so quickly. That is like a machine gun in the making, instantly just taking out the Lord so very fast. He's got himself a Corrosion Scythe, a DHS, Golden Staff, Wind Talker, and a Winds of Nature. 13 minutes in the game. The perfect dream game for them. And ALVA 8, it seems like there's just no way they can actually do anything with this 1-1 at all. And it's a problem.
Yeah, it's starting to build up as well. All the waves, well, except for the mid wave, kind of getting synced up by MHRLK. So ALVA 8, at least don't have to worry about all 3 lanes getting shoved in. So he's working on the Lord, and one's going to charge onto the bot inhibitor. NIS goes right in. This time he's going to get kidnapped all the way into the base. ALVA 8 getting a pickup, but MHRLK, they came for the inhibitor and they have found it.
Yeah, this is exactly what they needed as well, to try and stall as much as they can. And IX has been extremely annoying. A big torn here coming from MHRLK Esports. And they have to be very careful as well, because if they make the wrong call right here, Kelvin is going to be able to stretch through the back lines alongside with CJ with one big wall charge. So they're a little bit afraid of what CJ's positioning. Even though we don't see a lot of kills coming from CJ, he's got 0-0 and 6. We know for a fact that this Grok is doing some serious damage here. He's got the Blade of Eptases, he's got the Malefic Roll, and the Blade of Despair. So that means that any squishy targets coming from ALVA is going to get potentially one-shotted here.
They want to go for Kelvin. They do have the Divine Judgment. Flicker up in 15 for Windsmoke. MHRLK just needs to be a bit more patient. And Eliora already using a better airstrike, but it's not finding much value out of that.
Oh, mistakes were made. They were expecting that Windsmoke was going to go for a dive like this. Now the counter conceal play coming from MHRLK as they try to re-engage, but they don't seem to have the tools to fight this as of yet. The purple buff will be denied away, but it doesn't really matter for a Fredrin. With or without the buff, it doesn't really matter. All you gotta do is just buy time. In this case, gold leaderboard right now is going to be Kelvin and CY topping network shot. Aaron Shiki very close to his final item purchase. And once that comes out, things are going to get a little bit difficult to do so. Meanwhile, for CY, not going for the shoes, he's going to double down more damage item as well for himself. So I guess in terms of overall damage output-wise, Aaron Shiki may need one item more to try and fight back.
And you can see ALVA 8, they are just slowing down. No control over the Lord Pit just yet. Calvin's face check this one, but his tank's a lot. So durable. He's going to toy around with Accent into Raji, and now the rest of MHRLK have shown up to the party. ALVA 8 once more forced away from that Lord Pit. Windsmoke even found out as well. Kelvin is just not the target. He even has the immortality.
Yeah, this is tough. Killing Kelvin is going to be one of the difficult ones here coming from ALVA 8. They need to find a way to shut him down, but the problem is it's going to be tough. It's going to be up to Zion. But every single time Zion shows him trying to make a play, MHRLK just completely chain stuns and kills him off, knowing for a fact that if they focus fire and kill him off before he drops his Appraiser Wrath, they are going to win the guarantee fight. And currently the only one that can open up the map for ALVA 8 is pretty much this Fredrin instead of the play. But seems like they are going to try to make an attempt this time with Windsmoke leading the charge while he tries to go in for the flank instead.
And they found Jirachi? not really sure what the idea was coming in from the flank, but ALVA 8 losing a member before the proper fight even starts. NIX running interference. XYan able to keep him in place. Better airstrike to get rid of the Ruby. Lord dropping low, 10,000 XP. Invincible fingers forward, get the Divine Judgment. They kidnap the 1-1, and they might lose the Lord though. Kelvin would just get it. Meanwhile, the backline infiltrated by both Daizo and CJ. ALVA 8, you got to, but can you get out of this predicament? Vinsmoke just getting rammed down by CJ. XYan also in a very bad spot. Vinsmoke desperately trying to get away, blocked up by the wall, but he was able to hop over. Meanwhile, XYan on this Fredrin, trying to escape from Kelvin, and Kelvin, he's not going to let this Fredrin slide. End of the day, is MHRLK getting the better end of the trade. Winter Trunkin of all items, only delaying his death. 40 seconds without the Fredrin.
Oh boy, he bought space for the team, but at the same time, is that space enough? They were so close to contest the Lord. They made the play to punish CY, but with a minute shoving in, they are going to lose this emitter down middle. CJ, even though it is a Grok, this is a Grok with Blade of Despair, and he is going to do a lot more damage than you would expect. In this case, the reset comes in. MHRLK's got all 5 men up. Zayan is still 15 seconds on the sidelines, and things are not looking good. ALVA 8, they have to buy time for him, but instead they do get the catch on Kelvin, and the tower is going to collapse, and Aaron Shiki now forced to back out. They drop the Fed and airstrike to zone them out, but they're so healthy. CY picks them off, and now the Crystal going to be exposed to get the triple kill for CY. They might get the quad. He almost got the Savage, and that is going to be the Maniac to close things out for Game 1 in this lower bracket semifinals.
MHRLK comes out of the gate swinging. Once more, just outclassing ALVA in these team fights. And one of the, I think the main focus of this entire Game 1 was just ALVA 8 feeling indecisive when it came to these